Link down below to credit Ringside News with this article that he posted, along with the full interview with Sergeant Slaughter discussing his take on Lacey Evans' military gimmick. It's really not that big of a deal. He was very polite, he's very calm, and he shared his take on the whole situation. It's really not that big of a deal, but people have been losing their minds on Twitter. Some people have been commenting to me about it, what I think of it, and I see where he's going. I see where he's coming from. So, quick recap. She served in the Marine Corps, and that's great, but you're still sexualizing the gimmick, and that's what he's saying. So as we could tell here, as we can tell there, and as we can tell here, we already have most of the women's roster dressing like that, looking like a Nikki Bella or something like that. He's saying, for this, why don't we go with something a little bit more conservative, like how she's dressed here in her real military fatigues, okay? Again, to me, this was one of her greatest days when she was doing the Southern Belle thing. But with this is a clear ripoff. So the other part where Sergeant Slaughter has an issue, and I have an issue, I agree with Sergeant Slaughter on this. Come on, the Cobra? And then she actually used the Cobra clutch, and it wasn't even the finishing move. That, to me, deserves to be protected. They didn't even run it by Sergeant Slaughter, who he said, by the way, in the interview, he would have been perfectly fine with it. Hell, he would have been willing to manage her, maybe take her like through slaughter camp or something, build up sort of like a story and all that, and that would have been amazing, right? Because again, a lot of people will say, hey, it's not a gimmick, man. She really served in the Marine Corps. Okay, great, but now you're in the world of professional wrestling. Whether you've done it or not, it's a gimmick. Kurt Angle is a real gold medalist in the Olympics. But in WWF/WWE, it was still his gimmick, even though he really did it. Right? And he simply feels that it's disrespectful as a whole, the whole situation. And then when the WWE did approach him to potentially be her manager, they were offering him less money than what he's making now. Now that he's departed from the WWE, so that's another slap in the face. See, the sergeant's easy to work with. Just bring it by him. What's your take on this? We want to use, the Cobra clutch. We want to put the Cobra on her hat. What's your thoughts? He would have given his slight little creative input, and to me, boom. Like I said, do that, something like this, that would have been great. But yeah, this, we see this all the time. Have someone look different, a little bit more conservative, because he feels it brings a little bit more respect to the image of the whole army as a whole. And I know for my fellow American neighbors down south, as I'm Canadian, and it's probably the same up here, but I hear more about the U.S. military than I do the Canadian one. It is close and dear to most Americans, even those that haven't served or don't know anybody that's served. They're very, very big on that, the image. People want to remember Americans by their military. It's the land of the brave and the free and all that, not the land of the pole dancing look. So I totally get it. Dress like that, but not in the military fatigues. I get where he's coming from. And again, in closing, listen to the interview. He's very calm. He's very polite. Wishes her nothing but the best. He's not cursing her out or wanting to take legal action. Like, it's really not a big deal how he responded to this. But it was pretty wild for me to see how people got so bent out of shape over his comments. It's really not that big of a deal. I get where he's coming from. Maybe you don't. Who cares? There's much bigger things to worry about in life than what a legend thinks of a current superstar's gimmick. We can't have opinions now anymore. And that's why I don't do a lot on my political YouTube channel, because that shit gets red hot. Actually, like white hot, blue hot, because a flame. Anyways, we're not going to get into science. But this is about as political or as divisive as I'm going to get on my wrestling channel here, because this has to do with wrestling. Now, if you want, you can go ahead down below in the description box. You can let me know what you think of the whole situation. Because I care, and because a little bit of an ulterior motive there, but it also helps promote the channel a little bit. The more engagement there's on a video, the more thumbs up there are on a video, back and forth in the comments, it scratches YouTube's G-spot. Seriously, it really does. With the algorithm, and my video, because it's so amazing, is more likely to get pushed, so it might get 20 views instead of 5 or something like that. So yeah, if you liked it, thumbs up. If you didn't like it, thumbs down. And I'll make sure we bend it in half, twist it, break it off in your ass, and then the Sarge puts you in a Cobra clutch, a Camel clutch. Maybe there's a Scorpion clutch. We'll put you in a bunch of clutches. It'll be a clusterfuck of clutches. Clutch cluster. Anyways. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, naturally that would be fantastic now, wouldn't it? But if not, I get it. We've got a plethora, a cornucopia, a quiver of wrestling YouTubers. Do we really need another one? Probably not, but I'm enjoying this more than anything else I've ever done. So there you have it. Take care. It's really not that serious. And maybe I'll see some of you in the next one. Bye for now.